Good morning, San Pablo. Today is April the 30th. It's the last day of April. Can you believe it? It seemed like 3 weeks ago was April Fool's Day, and now it's almost May. It's Thursday. We have one more day to the weekend. Today you have a social studies quiz. Make sure you use the correct code when you click on the link in your assignments. The code is there. Let's see, do I have it available? It is 8GXG. 8GXG. Make sure you use caps. Today in the history of the world that we live in. Believe it or not, on this day, Jean Ribot, the French explorer, and René de Laudonnière and the Huguenots fled France because of religious persecution. And they landed in what is now Jacksonville on this day in 1562. Wow, that was a long time ago. In 1563, sadly, on this day, all Jews were expelled in France by Charles VI. This was about 400 years or close to 400 years before the Holocaust. So see, it's not the first time this has happened to the Jews in Europe. 1563, the French Jews are kicked out by Charles VI. In 1789, our first president, George Washington, was sworn into office on this day. And on this day in 1803, Thomas Jefferson sends James Monroe to sign the Louisiana Purchase, basically doubling the size of the United States. A sad part of our history happened in 1871 on this day. 144 Apache Indians were massacred in Arizona at the Camp Grant Massacre. In 1904, the very first ice cream cone is brought into existence. Ice cream existed, but the cone itself was brought into existence on this day in 1904. In 1943, Bergen-Belsen concentration camp is opened. This is the place where Anne Frank died and her sister Margot. That's why we're talking about Bergen-Belsen. In 1945, on this date, bit of good news, the Soviet Union raises the flag over the Capitol building in Berlin, signaling the fall of Nazi Germany. Also, on this day, Adolf Hitler dies in his secret bunker. And in 1952, 68 years ago, Mr. Potato Head, you know Mr. Potato Head, is the first ever toy advertised on television. And on this day in 1961, Willie Mays, the Say Hey Kid, he comes up in our next novel, by the way. Willie Mays, on this day in 1961, hits 4 home runs in one game. The following year, April 30th, 1962, he does it again on the same day. On this day in 1980, Iranian students take the American embassy over and capture all of the American citizens inside and hold them hostage for 444 days. And they would be released in 1980. In 1989, the internet begins. 4 years later, people actually have the internet in their homes and can communicate by computer. That's all I have for this date in history. There is no read aloud today. There is a social studies quiz. Yes, you can look back and use your notes. That's all I got. Have a great weekend. Have a great Thursday. And yes, we will be okay. Whoop, whoop. All aboard! Hey, Allie B, how are you doing? Haven't heard from you in a while. Making sure you're okay out there. Anderson Motre, handle your business today. Have a good day, guys.